Okay, so today we have Morrissey and Back on the Chain Gang. So I reacted to Back on the Chain Gang by The Pretenders a few days ago now, and a lot of the comments were saying, Morrissey did a cover of this, hint, hint, wink, wink. So we're coming to this one today. So again, this is obviously a cover, but I guess Morrissey did change up a couple things in the lyrics. So anyway, let's get into it, talk about it after. Let's go and watch the video too. Could get blocked.
Picture of you, it hijacked my world at night. From a place in the past we've been cast out of. Now we're back in the fight. Yes, we're back on the chain gang. Chain gang. Yeah. Circumstance beyond our control. Phone, TV, and the news of the world. Got in the house like a pigeon from hell. Sand in our eyes descending like flies. Yes, we're back on the chain gang. Whoa, yeah. Back on the chain gang. Like we do, bring me to my knees when I see what they've done to you. Well, oh guys, I stand here today, knowing that deep in my heart they'll fall to ruin one day for making us part. Picture of you. Oh, they were the happiest days of my life. Like a break in the battle was your part. Oh, lonely hearts. Yes, we're back on the chain gang.
Okay, so there it is, Morrissey and Back on the Chain Gang. I gotta say at the start with this video, and again, I said at the end there before and the music came in, but the video could get blocked. We'll see what happens. But either way, I liked watching it, and I just liked. I think it feels like they were trying to do a kind of 60s thing or something. I'm reminded of a Weezer's video for Buddy Holly, I do believe, where they kind of, in their music video, they're kind of, harkening back to an older time. And this, again, that seems to be what's happening here. The band is playing in front of an audience, I guess you would say, a fake audience, perhaps, with those claps at the beginning and at the end, I do believe. But anyway, so I like that. And you had the girls dancing along, and that's what really kind of reminded me of like a 60s kind of thing, some go-go girls or something something like that. Anyway, but I really enjoyed, this is pretty much a rendition of the Pretenders' original track. And again, the Pretenders' original track, which was such an important, I just talked about it a few days ago, so, I'm repeating myself, I guess, but that's the point. But an important track for them, of course, kind of a transition after they lost James Honeyman Scott, and, they would also lose Pete Farndon as well. I believe before this song came out too in 1982, I want to say again. So anyway, again, it's obviously a very important song for Chrissie Hynde and the Pretenders. And Morrissey has always been, and I've learned, because again, Chrissie Hynde has been on a couple or maybe even a few Morrissey tracks, and they are friends, and they've covered each other's works, whatever, they've been on each other's works. And so obviously Morrissey is just, a great friend to her, and I guess she's a great friend to him. So again, it's just, I don't know, it's a nice little, a beautiful little moment, you might say. And again, Morrissey kind of changes it up. There is a kind of more rocking feel to it, I guess you would say. I mean, the guitar obviously here is a big part of that, especially in the video. I just liked how, and again, I think about how it kind of has a 60s vibe to the video or whatever, and there does seem to be maybe like a surf rock kind of influence on the guitar. That's what really came to my head. But again, it just seems like they're all having kind of fun, a lot of fun, whatever, and they're kind of swaying and moving around, a little bit of dancing going on in there. It just seems so laid back and chilled out, whatever. And I just really enjoyed that part of it. And again, it doesn't seem like Morrissey is trying to outdo the Pretenders version. Again, this seems like a guy who's coming at it from, being a friend to Chrissie, and, saying, I want to do, my goodness, I want to do a cover of your song, but I don't want to, make it, better, whatever the hell. It just seems like he made it his own in his own way. And again, it just seems like a friendly little, a song, to a great friend, whatever, he's kind of paying tribute, obviously, to them, in a great way. And again, I just love, he kind of made it his own. And again, he changed a couple lyrics, I guess, which we'll get to soon in the lyrics. And again, I guess he had been, as I read here on Wikipedia, I do believe he had been performing this live, and then he finally put it out as a single. And honestly, I thought I might have already reacted to this. It sounds like obviously a familiar title, but I guess I never did. And finally, here we are today. We did it. And I guess this was also on the deluxe edition of Low and High School. That's where, this was what album this was on. But anyway, again, I just really enjoyed how he kind of paid tribute to the whole thing. Because again, the Pretenders song, their original version is so important to the band. It was a transition for them. And you talk about getting back, back on the chain gang, kind of getting back in the game, whether they like it or not. They got to get back up on that horse. And, after, a couple of deaths, going through a lot of, grief and such, you got to get back on the chain gang. Again, whether you like it or not, we got to keep going somehow, perhaps. And yeah, so anyway, I just really enjoyed that. And like I said, there is a quote here from spin.com, I do believe. So it goes on, it says, Morrissey is pretty loyal to the cover, except for a couple mistakes, which he explained in an interview with Rolling Stone. I don't always, do quotes and all that stuff, but I did want to mention this part because I find it kind of interesting, or just kind of fun, whatever, or lovely, whatever you want to choose. He said, I didn't ever see the lyrics correctly printed because I wanted to sing them as I always had thought they were. This is tricky with Chrissie Hynde because sometimes she'll go into a misty wobble, so I decided to wobble as well. And again, it just seems like he's paying tribute to her. He's not, taking the piss, whatever the hell you say. He's not really trying to emulate her voice, I guess, because it's, two different voices here. But at the same time, again, he just seems to be trying to pay tribute the whole time, or just trying not to, step on their toes or whatever the hell. This is the whole point of, saying, I love the song. I want to, cover the song, and just doing it because he loves the song and he loves the person who did it. And again, anyway, and then he goes on as well. He's always had a deep reverence for Chrissie and the Pretenders and the song. He said, I think the original can safely be counted as a pop classic, and as always with the Pretenders, of the brain as well as the loins. So there you go there. And again, it also talks about how he loves Chrissie basically, and, they've been friends forever. And it does say here in the video provided for the cover, Morrissey performs with a band in a mock-up of a 60s style musical program. So there it is there. I didn't even see that quote, but that's what really did feel like it. Again, it reminded me of like Weezer's Buddy Holly video, video, or just one of those old videos where, again, the applause, and it's just kind of so cheesy in a way. And again, they really obviously did that very well here, because that's what came to my big fat head. Anyway, it's a great rendition. It's a great cover, however you want to put it. I love it a lot. But I mean, I guess I can go through the lyrics here. I mean, I talked about it before, but again, we'll go through some of the lyrics. So I found a picture of you, oh, it hijacked my world that night, from a place that passed. From a place in the past we've been cast out of. And I did love how he did the oh, because again, Chrissie's voice is great on that, and Morrissey doing it here, but adding again a bit more gravitas. I mean, again, he is an older man here, and when Chrissie did this, she was, what, in her 20s, I would say, and she's a woman as well. So it's different, but I just love his take on it. I love his boisterous voice at this time, and just the way he did the O's and all that stuff, because again, Chrissie's voice on this song is so good, and Morrissey again kind of tried to match her in that way, and again, as you said, he was trying to do the little wobbles that she does, which I like how he described that. But again, we go into the chorus. Yes, we're back on the chain gang, a circumstance beyond our control, the phone, the TV, and the news of the world got in the house like a pigeon from hell. And again, some of these lines is just kind of fun to hear Morrissey say, got in like a pigeon from hell, whatever, sand in our eyes, descend like flies. Again, some of these lines do fit Morrissey. And I think about, back on the chain gang, and when he does say at the start, again, I forgot to kind of mention it, but when he does say, I found a picture of you, it hijacked my world. And then he goes on when they do the part again of the third verse, I found a picture of you. They were the happiest days of my life. Like a break in the battle was your part. Lonely heart, lonely hearts, and goes on. And again, like I said, some of these parts are different from the original, but that's Morrissey's whole intent. He just wanted to do it as he always thought it was. Which again, some people might not like that, some people do. And again, at the same time, it's Morrissey. He can do what he wants with the song. Again, I'm sure Chrissie didn't mind. But I did want to say, him looking at a picture of, I found a picture of you. They were the happiest day of my life. And honestly, the first guy that comes to mind is Johnny Marr for me. As again, the Smiths posters behind me. I mean, everybody, has always, so many people love the Smiths, and people have always wanted them to get back together. Of course, now Andy Rourke has passed away, so the original lineup can never get back together. But again, when you put it in Morrissey's context, or the context of Morrissey here, you think about him finding a picture and him saying those are the happiest days of my life. I think of, between 1982 and 1987 with the Smiths. And, as a Smiths fan, that's just what comes to mind. And, when he says that. But again, obviously, this isn't his song. God only knows who he might think of when he hears that line. But again, I think of Johnny Marr, I think of, Mike Joyce, or, Andy Rourke, something like that. Even though Morrissey has had so many different friends, whether in the business or in his personal life, the guy that does come to mind for me is, the guy that some people might already think of in Johnny Marr. So anyway, I just had to say that too, as a Smiths fan, and as a Morrissey fan too, of course. I mean, my God. Anyway, and then, at the end there, like I said, with that third verse, lonely hearts, lonely hearts. Yes, we're back on the chain gang. Whoa, back on the chain gang. And again, it's a great little tribute to the band, to a band that obviously Morrissey has had a lot of love for, and a band that was around at the same time as the Smiths. Again, when the boys back then were doing their thing, and I liked how actually at the top of the song there was that kind of jangly, jangle pop, whatever kind of influence you could hear on the song. Again, they kind of made this their own, but at the same time, paid respect and paid tribute to the band, and paid tribute in a way to the lost Pretenders members, Pete and James. And that I just love how they went around this, or went about this. And again, the video was fun too. So I guess that's all I'm gonna say. Thanks for watching, thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting, all that stuff. Thanks for requesting this too. I kind of forgot that Morrissey had this, but again, I remember seeing this and I thought I might have already did it, but I guess I never did. So finally, here we are. It all worked out. I listened to the Pretenders original, and I listened to Morrissey's cover here, whatever, rendition, and it was great. Again, I just can't say it enough. I love how they went about it, and and how the two friends, whatever, Chrissie and Morrissey, get along or whatever, and can work on each other's stuff. So anyway, again, thanks for all the support, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. I never know how to finish a video, I guess. My goodness.